I want to give a big shout out to Bandai Namco for providing me with a free copy of Shadow of the Erdtree. Now with that said, let's get into the video. Shadow of the Erdtree is the only game to ever break my will to want to keep playing, to the point that I question, is it worth it? Can I do this anymore? And even as far as to say, this game. Like, I was just not having it anymore as I was getting my ass beat over and over and over again. But the gamer in me couldn't let go. I couldn't possibly let this game beat me and come to you all and tell you I'm reviewing this game, but I hadn't beat it yet. But rest assured, I did beat the game. I completed the entirety of it, at least as far as the main scenario goes, and some side content. After 100+ deaths fighting the final boss, I eventually did conquer it, and I can come to you all and say, here's my review, and yes, I did actually complete the game. Now, Shadow of the Erdtree may be the greatest DLC I've ever played, and it's also one that I felt expanded and scaled the world in a way that no game ever has. Now, jumping into the DLC, it's not very different from the base game. Like, the main mechanics are all going to be relatively the same, but you're going to have some new stuff in here. You get more areas to explore, more enemy types, more weapons, armor, spells, and weapon types. And the biggest change being the Shadow Tree fragments that you collect to scale the world. This system's biggest adjustment that makes your level going in not matter as much. With a max of 50 Shadow Tree fragments and a max level of 20, you will likely need all of them to have a fair chance against the biggest and baddest bosses in the game. There are also revered spirit ashes that scale your spectral steed and summons. This goes up to level 10 with a total of 25 to collect. While some may view these as optional because they don't tell you to go get them and you have to get them, they are not optional, guys. You need these to stand a chance against these bosses. If you don't want to get one-shotted, and if you want to do some real damage, you need to collect these fragments. The new map is also massive for a DLC, giving us multiple new areas to explore, with flowers and colors of those flowers being a major theme. And this seems to signify reaching a new biome. It's actually more vibrant than the base game. Like, you see all these different color palettes getting introduced, which makes the game glow. It makes the game more colorful, more palatable for those who don't want to see gray, dead lands. This is something that is welcomed and I feel actually improves Elden Ring. One moment you're exploring deadlands to green forestry to blue garden beds. It's impressive just how much effort was put into the landscapes of the world. There's also no lack of dungeons to explore, and these dungeons vary in their architectures. This creates a diverse world where you may even feel the map to be larger because of the major changes between biomes. Now let's talk about those side quests. Shadow of the Erdtree introduces some great new characters, and along with it, a bunch of new side quests to further flesh out the lore of the world. Unfortunately, in natural FromSoft fashion, they don't warn you about a point of no return that locks you out of many side quests. Please, people, do yourself a favor. Make sure you look up the point of no return. Don't burn that tree before you do the side quests. They don't tell you, and it's gonna lock you out of a lot of awesome content that you would have to do New Game Plus for to complete. And if you know what it took to get to Shadow of the Erdtree, you gotta do that all over again. They also added new weapons and types. Now we have thrusting shields, hand-to-hand combat, throwing blades, reverse hand swords, perfume bottles, beast claws, light great swords, and great katanas. You will definitely find something you love. But let's talk about those bosses. Oh brother, let me tell you just how infuriating these bosses are in their design and how difficult they are. But one thing I can say is if you're willing to use everything at your disposal that this game offers, the game is definitely doable. Go find those talismans you need. Go find all those fragments to maximize your Shadow Tree blessings. Go find that bleed build that's going to do mass amounts of damage. You need to use everything to your disposal if you don't want to pull your hair out. And I mean that. Anyone can win. You can beat this game as long as you use what's given to you as tools. Now, obviously, I have some issues with the game, and I want to share them even though they might be minor to a lot of you. The map is a bit confusing to navigate. I genuinely could not figure out how to access certain segments of the map, and after hours of trying to figure it out, I caved and searched online. Doing this, I found through comments that I wasn't alone. This isn't a major criticism, as I understand that this is also a part of FromSoft design. It's to encourage players to thoroughly explore to find everything the game has to offer, but sometimes it can feel a little like, if I don't look this up, there is no chance I'm going to find this. The camera angles are also frustrating, especially when fighting bosses that are oversized. You can't keep up with where they are, and this makes an already difficult game that much more difficult, but not for the reasons of skill, but mechanics being less refined. Now, overall, this DLC is a 10 out of 10. There's no doubt in my mind that this is what a 10 out of 10 DLC feels like. I feel like if you love Elden Ring or you enjoyed Elden Ring, this DLC is for you. You should be playing this DLC. And I even think those that are intimidated by FromSoft games should definitely still check out Elden Ring in its DLC. Just look up these walkthroughs and guides that simplify the game for you and show you what kind of builds will work best for you if you're not that precise at dodging and parrying and all these other skills that are needed to master these FromSoft games. You should get to enjoy these games because they really are that good. The lore is that good. The world and design is that good. With that said, Shadow of the Erdtree is FromSoft's best DLC and probably some of their best work, and I recommend that everyone go out and give this a chance.